Hello, Fantasticos. I want to talk about how to write an independent reading journal. So, I have been reading the book Dealing with Dragons, which is an absolutely delightful fantasy that I read years ago, and then I brought my copy of it into the classroom, and I haven't reread it since. Here's some things to notice about my entry about dealing with dragons. So, the first thing you'll see is that I started, and I'm going to highlight it here. Oops, maybe it'll let me. Come on. I started by identifying what book I'm reading and who the author is. Now, for me, this was a little difficult because I'm reading electronically, so I had to click into the author information, but there's usually a screen that tells you that. Then I gave a really short summary of it. I did not give away a bunch of information, not because I'm worried about giving it away so much, although I want you to read the book because it's really cool. So I didn't want to give too much away, but mostly just because that's not the focus of a reading journal. The point of a reading journal is more about explaining your thinking about what you're reading instead of explaining what it says. So that's my really short summary. And then I get into talking about my thinking about the book. So in this case, I identify um, what I'm talking about here. So I said that I notice, since this is a reread, I'm putting in some things that I've noticed more this time. And then after saying what I'm thinking about, I give some information from the text about it. I give some specific things about the text that support my idea that Reedy is incorporating elements of traditional fairy tales in here. And then I kind of wrap it up at the end by explaining that I feel that Reedy assumes that her readers are going to know this, that you wouldn't be reading a fractured fairy tale, which is a different variety of fairy tale, if you weren't interested in fairy stories. So you would know a lot about fairy stories. So yours don't have to be as long if you don't want them to be, but the idea is these three parts need to be there. Four parts need to be there. So I'm going to highlight this one in a different color so you can see. There we go. Tell me what you're reading. Give me just a little bit of background information so I have an idea what you're reading about it. Don't spend a whole bunch of time on a summary. Make it a super duper duper short just statement. Tell me what you're noticing, what you're thinking as you read the story. Then give me some information from the story that made you think that. So those four things need to be in every reading journal, no matter whether you're doing it as part of a wonder story or you're doing it as part of the research strand. Please talk to me about your thinking about the book.